with further parties and gatherings with family. So without further ado, Malia, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. I think this is the first time I've been mic'd, so this feels pretty official. Thank you for the introduction, Heather. My name is Malia, and it is Hawaiian. My mom is from Hawaii, so this teriyaki marinade is legit. I learned it from my mom's cousin, and it is just a tried and true family recipe. A lot of people in my family cook, so we have this saying in our family that is this the recipe? And the recipe in our family means, what do you do that makes this dish so good? So I want you guys to know that this is the recipe. This is what I make from home. This is what my family makes, and it's delicious. Two things that I learned being Polynesian is a love of food and a love of people. So I feel like my work marriage with Horse and Gigi has just been the perfect fit. And really looking forward to showing you guys what we're gonna make today. So we'll be making a chicken teriyaki on the grill. As Heather said, we'll be using boneless, skinless chicken thighs. And I actually think that the thighs are the lesser intimidating of the chicken. The chicken breast is really hard to get right. So if you're new to grilling, this is like the perfect dish to start out on. What I love about chicken thighs is they're super flavorful, they're really versatile, and they're so forgiving. So even if you overcook them a little bit, they'll still be delicious. The marinade that we'll be using today could be used for other things. My family does a teriyaki burger, and they'll use ground beef and add this marinade to it, and it's delicious. And we also do like teriyaki steak, so you can, I think a flank steak would be delicious with this marinade. And then of course the chicken thighs. The pineapple, I'll be showing you how to cut a pineapple, and my tips on how to pick one. We'll be grilling pineapple today. Has anyone done that before? Okay, we have kind of an adventurous group today. Great. Okay, well, let's get started. So I'm gonna start on my marinade, which is, I actually forgot a measuring cup. That's okay, because we'll just, it's okay. I'll just eyeball it. I'm a professional, you know? Okay, so we're gonna use white sugar and brown sugar. When I learned this recipe, I think we made like 5 gallons worth. My mom's cousin runs a food truck, and I don't think he makes a small batch like this ever. Okay, we'll add our soy sauce, so we'll do about a cup. So I'll add in our 2/4 of a cup. And then we'll go about to there. Okay. Can you use the low sodium? Yes, but don't. I think the full salt soy sauce is the best one because it gives you the best flavor. So just keep that in mind. You can use the low sodium in a pinch, but I kind of have a preference for that. Okay, ginger root. Has anyone seen this gnarly looking thing at the grocery store? Okay. Fresh ginger is such a great ingredient in the kitchen. And my favorite way, I've already used some of this, but my favorite way of getting the skin off is just by using a spoon. So you just scrape and it comes right off. See, just like that. We're using about an inch. I don't know if anyone else uses this trick, but the top of my finger is about an inch in size, so I always just kind of use that as a measurement. And I hate to ask this, can everyone hear me in the back? I don't think I've ever had that problem in my life. Good? Okay. I could probably go without the mic too. Okay, so we're just gonna peel that down. The fresh ginger is so much better than the prepared stuff. It's really worth the extra prep on that. Okay? I'm gonna move this over. So ginger is really fibrous, so we kind of just want the flavor of it. I'm just gonna trim that off a little bit. And we're just gonna cut this into discs. This, yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. The pineapple's always trying to steal the show. Okay, so the discs are gonna go in. I like to just kind of press them in my hands and bruise them up a little bit. Then we'll be using 3 green onions for this. And this is just for a marinade, so it doesn't have to look perfect. Okay. So those are our green onions. I only have a few kitchen gadgets in my arsenal. Could anyone guess what one of them is? Yeah. Okay, what's the other one? Any guesses? A good knife, always. A strawberry slicer. They're so great, and Orson Giggy carries those. I told that in one of my classes, and my brother-in-law said, "Don't you have a lemon squeezer too?" I'm like, pipe down over there. Okay, so you just take the skin off, and then you're just gonna throw it in the press, and then I just scrape the back, and this is our garlic. And it calls for about 3 teaspoons. So I do about 1 teaspoon is about one of these big garlic cloves. And just trim off the end. I think I forgot that last time. But like I said, this is for the marinade, so it's okay if you get a little bit of the skin in there. I'm going to do one more. Oh, it smells so good. I think I'm one of the only people that likes to smell like garlic for days after. Okay. And then another ingredient is sesame oil. Sesame oil is just like a little bit goes a long way. So when I say just to taste, that's probably about 1/4 of a teaspoon. And it comes out fast too. Okay. We're gonna whisk that up. And then I kind of use the whisk to kind of pound the ginger down to release some of that flavor. And this is ready to go. So the chicken thighs that I use, I just got from Costco. They're always a little bit fatty, a little more fat than I like, so I always trim them down once I get them. It's just kind of a thing that I do, but you don't have to do that. So at this stage, you'll marinate your chicken. This will marinate about 8 pounds of chicken, which you think, oh, that's a lot of chicken. Costco sells the packs in a 6-pack, so half of that will marinate this. And your neighbors will want some too, so just make a big batch and make it worth it. So this is our marinade all ready to go. And then I'm gonna show you guys how I like to do the pineapple, and then we will go over to the grill. Any questions so far? I do 24 hours. My mom's cousin does longer than that, but I kind of find that the texture of the chicken changes a little bit. It just gets a little more, almost cured a little bit. And I kind of like it at this stage. So 24 hours. I usually try to buy what I'm going to use because I feel like it doesn't last forever. It tends to dry out. People on the internet is a great place, like to freeze it. So you could always freeze it if you have any extras. Anybody else over here? Okay. What was that?
It was a question from a little boy.
Oh. I'm used to being around my kids, so I'm just like, whoa, the radar is on. Okay. Okay, not to brag. This is probably one of the best looking pineapples that I've gotten. A trick that I've learned from my mom is she always smells the bottom of the pineapple. You're wanting to look for an overall yellow color on the pineapple. Sometimes it doesn't ripen perfectly all around. I actually heard in one of my last classes, a student said that they like to tip it upside down and the sugars from the pineapple kind of evenly distribute. So you can do that too. Just like avocados, when your pineapple gets ripe, throw it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. I wouldn't forget about it, but it'll last a couple of days in the fridge at least. Okay, so we're gonna trim the top and the bottom off. You know what? I actually need a sharper knife. I left my knife at home. Do you mind? Thanks. Todd to the rescue! He just keeps giving and giving. You do want a sharp knife, which usually is not a problem. And I'm not good at waiting for things, so I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, so it's a nice golden color on the interior. Today we're gonna be serving this with our teriyaki chicken, but it would be really good to grill up and put it with a scoop of vanilla ice cream if you wanted an easy dessert. I also make a grilled pineapple salsa that is delicious with tacos or just another vehicle with chips, right? We're always looking for an excuse to eat more chips. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. Yep. That did it. Okay. So we're trimming the top and the bottom so we have a nice flat surface. This is how I cut my watermelon, my cantaloupe, my pineapple. And these little things are called eyes. So we're looking to get rid of the eyes because the texture on those is not very nice. Okay? Okay, at this point, you can see the core running through the middle of the pineapple. I'm just gonna get rid of these. So we're gonna cut this in half. And then cut this in half again. And then the way that I like to get out the core is just stand it up and run my knife out. And that's the core. This is great for teething babies. It has a great pineapple flavor. It just doesn't break down like a pineapple does. Okay. Looks great. And then I'm going to cut this into planks. So we'll probably do about 3 or spears, 3 to a piece. And then we will grill these. Don't be afraid of getting a good char on these either. They have a lot of good flavor when they're charred. So if you tend to burn things, this is your jam. Oh, it's so good. And a good pineapple should have kind of like a coconut undertone. It tastes really tropical. And this one is just perfect. I get my pineapples all over the place. Walmart, Harmon, Smith's, really any of your grocery stores have them. Okay, we'll pile those up. I'm gonna wait for Todd to just pull those off of the grill, and then we will go over to the grill with our chicken. Okay, so this is our marinated chicken, which has been going for 24 hours, almost exactly. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, awesome. All right. I'm gonna move on over to there. And I think I have.
Do you want the pineapple?
You know what? I'm gonna cut up my we'll cut up the green onions while we're waiting. And these ones look great. So you can do this a couple of different ways. Sometimes if I'm doing this as a garnish, which is what we're doing, I'll cut these at an angle. And you'll end up with these really pretty diagonal pieces of green onion that you can just sprinkle on top. And all I'm doing is kind of turning my knife at an angle and cutting just like I would at home. You can top these with sesame seeds if you wanted and toast those up. Okay. So we'll have that garnish ready to go. Okay. All right. Nice and hot. That's great. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. So you want your grill to be really hot to begin with. That's probably the one thing that I've learned grilling is we're kind of scared to burn it. So we put it on like a medium temp, but I always crank my grill and get it going for about 20 minutes before you're going to use it. Yes?
When you say hot, give us a number of hot. What's hot? 500?
Like turn it to high, the high dial on your heat. This is a much nicer grill than what I use at home. I have made this joke before in previous classes, but I have a free grill from Home Depot, which is great. It's a little bit trickier. These are amazing. Like, I could put 30 pieces of chicken down, and the corners will look the same as the entire set. Where at home you have, you know, that one strip in the middle that doesn't cook anything. Hopefully that feels a little relatable to most of us. So get it really hot. Set your timer for 15, 20, ooh, sorry. Can you still hear me? Okay. resilient these are. For about 15-20 minutes, and then come back to it. And then I'm gonna drop the heat down. These have been going all morning, so they're totally fine. We're gonna go to a medium-high heat. Okay. Sorry. Guys, I'm picking up on a lot of background noise, so I think people are talking to me. Okay. Thank you. This is Phil, my helper today. I'm going to try to show you on these chicken thighs, there's kind of a smoother side and a side that's a little more jagged where they take the bone out. We're going to do the skin side down, and we want it to sound like that. If your grill doesn't sound like that, it's not hot enough. And then just space them out. And what's great about this marinade is we can kind of char up any of those green onions that are still stuck to the chicken. And then you always have to make sure that you got everything. Okay. Okay. I'm going to say about 4 minutes on this. You want to see char marks. That's a really good sign of a good piece of chicken, are getting those lines. And because we have 2 kinds of sugar in our marinade, it's just going to caramelize the outside of it and get really nice. My Siri isn't working today, so we'll just put that on 3 minutes. If your grill isn't clean, hang out and make sure you're not torching your entire set of chicken, okay? That's another thing that I found, that if I haven't cleaned out my grill, you'll just get flames. And then keep the lid closed is also another helpful tip. We want to keep peeking, but this will help to cook our food. And I'm going to grab some of that pineapple as well that we'll put on. Phil, do you have a set of tongs that you use for the pineapple? No. Could we get another set of tongs for our pineapple? Okay, we'll leave those there. Any questions so far? Any more questions about grilling?
You ever put brown sugar on your pineapple?
I have done that before. I've also done honey. You can kind of, if you warm up your honey in the microwave, I have done this where it's actually come out of the bottom and it fell on my foot and burned my foot. So that was fun. And then everyone's concerned for your well-being. Yeah, brushing it with honey or brown sugar is kind of a nice way to caramelize. I feel like they are great on their own. In fact, the more charring you get on the pineapple, the sweeter they're going to get. It just kind of amps up. Oh, perfect. Okay. I'm getting this double heat wave from the coals and the grill. Yes?
Do you spray your grill so things don't stick or no?
If you do, it's an aerosol, so sometimes you'll get a flame kickback, which you can do. I haven't noticed any sticking anytime I've used these grills. But at home, I also can just take like a paper towel that has some oil on it and just grab your tongs and rub the grates that way. That's a really easy way of doing that. Any other questions? Don't be scared. Okay, I'm gonna check my time. It's amazing how slow time goes when you're standing in front of a captive audience. Like if I've been here all day. Okay, we have about 30 seconds, but I am gonna peek in on these. They look good. They're behaving today. You don't always get that. But I've learned the more that I grill, kind of the less intimidating it is. When I had little kids, I would wait until my husband came home to light the grill, and it just wasn't working for me anymore. So I just decided I'm going to go for it. So for anyone that's a little intimidated by grilling, it's just another method of cooking, just like your oven is inside. Okay. I'm going to try not to drop this. That's what we're looking for, okay? Those nice grill marks. And you can kind of pull the corner up on one. If you don't see those, then let it go longer. At home, I'm about 4 minutes on one side, 3 on the other. But here, it's a little bit quicker. We'll keep it at 3 minutes again. So we'll do another 3 minutes. Oh, that's what I meant to do. So the pineapple, we're just going to do the flat side down. And these usually take about, I bought these to-go containers from Harmon's. I didn't buy these from Harmon's, just so you guys don't think that I bought these in the produce section. They always look inviting though. But now that you know how easy it is to cut a pineapple, you'll never do that again, right? And then we'll just let these sit. At home, they're about 5 minutes on each side, but we'll probably be a little bit quicker this time around. That last piece is not going to come out. Okay. This is a great tool. Does anyone know what the temp for chicken is? Is this my old culinary school class? You guys almost said that in unison. 165 is what we're looking for. Does anyone know what a carryover temperature is? Carryover cooking, sorry. Okay, so it continues cooking, which means when you pull it off at 165, it'll really be 165, 170. I would probably say more on the 5-degree range, but just keep that in mind when you're cooking, that it'll continue to cook after you pull it. And these are really great tools. Thermapen, they are instant read thermometers, so they'll tell you your temperature right away. I will say a tip for temping meat on the grill is not to temp it on the grill. I like to take the meat off and put the thermometer in and check that way. Just one piece. And you want to put it in the fattiest part of the chicken.
Yes.
19 seconds. I have like an internal clock when I know I'm getting close. Phil had actually asked while we were prepping over here together, if you can use chicken breast. The reason I like chicken thighs is they're more of a consistent cut of meat. Where a chicken thigh a chicken breast, you get a really fatty piece and then it tapers down. So what do you end up with? A really dry piece of chicken. If you are going to do chicken breast, which I think you could totally do for this recipe, I would use the thinly sliced from Costco just to get your feet wet. And then when you start feeling a little more adventurous, try it with a thicker piece of chicken. But it is going to take longer. Another helpful tip is to pull your meat out before you cook it. About 20 minutes before I cook my meat, it's out of the fridge so it can kind of come to room temperature. So you're not cooking a really cold piece of meat on a really hot grill. You kind of want it to be homogeneous. Is that the right word? Okay. I thought I heard someone say no at the exact same time. What was that? Oh, perfect. Okay. Now,
Do you ever-
these get hot.
They do, and they hold the heat really
Yeah,
well.
So I'm gonna, before we have to call the paramedics over here. Okay, that's looking good. So I'm gonna take the fattiest piece of meat that I have, and we're just gonna temp it really quick. And if I'm over 165, I'm gonna lie to you guys. Okay, I am, but it's okay. They look great. So we're gonna pull those off. Oh, sorry, you just told me that the chicken was at the end. I heard you and then I...
Underneath here, in
Okay.
between.
And then these are the chef's morsels that you get. These little knobs that get left on the grill. You can... I've been eating those. These guys can attest to that. I won't do that right now.
Quality control.
Quality control, thank you. Okay, this is the start of some good charring. We're gonna flip that just for the sake of time. You can go darker than that, and it can be even more charred on the end as well. So really, don't be afraid of that. Has anyone been to Tucano's restaurant? This is going to be that similar vibe without spending $40 on the buffet, which we love to do too. Okay, so I'm going to flip these over and give them another 5 minutes. Yeah, wrapping up.
Are you okay? Do you want to add? Do you want to do some questions? Can you give some stuff away?
Yes.
Did you think of some questions? I gave her a heads up.
I did. Now I'm like, what's to eat? I mean, they know the temperature of the chicken. Most of them. I guess we could. Yes, in the back.
I have a question about the marinade. Can you make the marinade into a sauce, a bigger sauce? Can you use that same recipe?
Some people will boil this down. If you do that, you could just add a little bit of a slurry, which is that cornstarch water mixture, cold water and cornstarch. I sometimes will just reserve some on the side and then I'll just boil it down. Because this will make about 4.5 cups, which is a good amount. So this is a pretty generous amount for the 8 pounds that we're doing. Okay.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead. How long would that last? You made, there's 2 of us. That's a lot. How long would it last in the fridge?
The marinade,
The marinade.
I think you could go 5 days on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Things start to get weird when it sits in the fridge, which sometimes we want that funkiness. We don't want that in this case. So I probably,
That's great.
yeah, I wouldn't go longer than that. But if you want, just make some up and then cook some off. Use it as you go. So I wouldn't reuse marinade that has already had raw chicken in it, if that makes sense. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, let's give away the grilled tongue and liver set. Anything have a question?
Yes.
Okay, ask them. The first person to raise their hand, Jeff, you gotta watch, okay?
What is one way of knowing if the pineapple is ripe? I think I saw the back corner first.
Turn it upside down and you smell the
Yes! Bravo!
Hey, can you think of another one?
Okay. Why do I like to use chicken thighs? I think the guy in the blue.
Flavor.
They have flavor.
Easy to cook.
Easy to cook. Okay. More consistent. Okay. Thank you.
I got some chef hot seasoning.
Awesome. Which this is new. It looks great. I haven't tried this. Okay.
Another question. Where did we meet?
Mustache.
The mustache. Yeah.
The bus stop.
Thank you.
What's the name of that? This is Chef Todd's pit seasoning. This is what we use for flavoring everything. We've got it in barrels up in the front desk. Do you think one more question?
Literally everything.
One more question. Why do we use two different types of sugar? You had your hand up before I even finished.
He knew it.
Let's hear it.
For a different, you get a good star.
Yeah, because it caramelizes, right? And you get a good depth of flavor. You guys were listening. I think so. I'm gonna pull a piece of chicken and just show you guys how I like to serve it up. It might be gone already. Did these friends that chicken? I just need one piece. And you hope it doesn't fall. Okay. I talked about this in my last class. Has anyone been hearing the term cutting against the grain today? Okay, what does that mean? Yes.
Cut so it's not super chewy, so it's more tough instead of super
Yeah. So the reason we do that, thank you, is for texture. If I were to cut in the lines where the fibers of the meat are going, the meat would kind of just be tough. When we go against the grain, which is almost just like perpendicular, it leaves you with a better product. So I'm just going to cut these in thin strips. And you really want those char bits too. So I have that, and then you can just do a little sprinkling of your guys's garnish. And then I'm also going to grab another piece of pineapple. Is that pineapple good to go? Okay, I'm just going to snag one. Oh, this looks great. I can't hold it up higher without it probably falling. Okay, so this has really good char on it. And we're just going to slice it up and serve it with our chicken today. You will be surprised how good this is. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for being such a great audience. I think we've got some samples over there.